All right. Hello. So this is John Davis with Davis Business Coaching. I'm here with Eric Jones of Coffee Cup Coaching. And Eric's a coach similar to what I do, but we have some totally different focuses. So today we're going to talk a little bit about his business. And so Eric, if you could just introduce yourself, tell me about your
Sure.
company and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Eric Jones. I run Coffee Cup Coaching, and I am a coach that works with individuals to basically help them find their passions so they can live their lives with purpose. I am here to kind of help you stop struggling and find a better path for your career, life, whatever it would be. I'm not a career coach. I'm not a life coach. I'm somewhere in the middle. It's a really quasi area that I'm at. But really, I'm just here to, help people really truly discover who they are and make sure that they make the best decisions and get their lives going forward.
Well, as we were just talking a moment ago, I can see a big need for that because a lot of people are asking me, "Oh, so you're going to help me figure out what I do when I grow up?" Well, no. When by the time they're working with me, they're already in. They got 2 feet
Yeah,
in the lid. But so it's good to know that you're out there. How did you get into that field?
I kind of fell
What
into
made you
it.
do it?
Yeah, I kind of fell into it. Growing up, I've always been the kid or the person that was giving advice. High school friends would come to me and ask for advice about things. College, as I got married, me and my wife did some premarital counseling with people and stuff like that. So I've always been an advice giver, and I've started following some of my advice as well, which is important. But I started to find patterns with people, and that where they just weren't really doing an introspective look at themselves and really doing a good self discovery. And they were making all these decisions, and these decisions were leading them down roads that weren't the best for them. So I spent probably a good 2 years, 3 years of my life after a first marriage, really just diving into myself, and really trying to understand, like what makes me tick. I took, I think, every single personality test out there on the book, so I can tell you all kinds of things from a personality base. But I really want to dive in, like, how does that apply to me, and how can I utilize that to make better decisions in the future? So I just started doing that, and then I started talking to friends about it, and they wanted to learn more about it. So I would start coaching them and doing little mini sessions with them and everything. And then I got to be a manager at work for different jobs. And I started applying at work, and I started seeing better performance from employees. And it just kind of all stacked up. And it's just been, in the past 6 months to a year that I've been like, hey, let me turn this into something. This is
Right.
obviously a need. It's obviously working. So why not share it, and let's see where it goes.
Well, and especially the last 2, 3 years.
Yes. Well, yeah, with COVID, everybody's reevaluating everything.
Absolutely. So it's a great time to get into it. Yeah, so you must be a really good listener, and good
Most
conversation.
days,
Yeah.
most days,
Let's say
I mean,
your wife and your kids, right?
if Star Wars isn't on and I'm not focused on a Star Wars movie or something like that, yes, I can totally listen to my wife and kids. But you put something like that on, and you kind of lose me a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you've been doing it for quite a few years informally, but more formally kind of the last year or so.
Yeah, yeah. The last year
Excellent.
we got really formal, really focused on it.
Okay. Very good. So as you were talking, and I recently came across a podcast. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Beyond Your Why. Have you heard of this?
No, I have not heard of Beyond Your Why. I'm making a note right now.
So, so I mean, it's clearly kind of a build off on the was it Simon Sinek, know your why,
Yep.
but it talks about, and I haven't been listening to it too long, nor have I done the profile, but it talks about a quick profile assessment, and it comes up. There's 9 different like why you do things. Like some people are motivated to fix something. Some people want to put things in order. And I don't even remember all of them. So I should know it before I just start spouting off about it. But when I hear what you said and self-educating, that's one that stuck out beyond your why.
Yeah.
It it's a little bit like the behavioral assessments and the natural tendencies, but a little different. And that's probably a really good tool for people trying to figure out what they want to do. Once they realize why they're wired,
Mm-hmm.
that can help them pick a path. So you may want to check
Yeah.
that out.
No, I definitely will. And I think that's the key is, like, no matter what tool, survey, assessment, or whatever you use, you're going to gain a glimpse of yourself. And that's important. I use them in my coaching. You can't not use them when you're trying to do self discovery and everything. And it's important because so many people will go out there and they think that, hey, my job title. It's the money that I make. It's the name of the company that I work for. All those things are kind of like the things that motivate them. We all want to climb that corporate ladder as it would be, but I think we're all starting to learn that those are the wrong motivators. I call those external motivators because they're on the outside. You don't really control them, even though you think you do. But really what we're looking for is those internal motivators. And it sounds like this tool is one that can help you identify that internal motivator, which is key. I love talking to people. Like the whole reason I came up with Coffee Cup Coaching is because people used to ask me, okay, if money wasn't a problem and wasn't an issue, what would you do for a living? I said, I would sit around and drink coffee and talk to people about their lives. Figure out what's making them run. Exactly. Got my coffee too. Let's sit around. Let's talk about it. Let's go. And that just fuels me. And that's an internal motivator. That's just one example. We all have those. When you recognize those, and then you can start to apply decision-making against those. So awesome. So awesome.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's very rewarding. I get that same feeling when for me, it's more of a problem solving, right? Mm-hmm. I'm an engineer, so I like to solve problems. I like to look at challenges, and I do like the people side of the problems, but I like a strategic problem and dilemma. And so for me, when I work with somebody and they have an issue that they know or they don't know that they have, and we identify it and we talk about ways to fix it, that feedback fuels me. And it sounds like you're getting that same type of fuel from the people you meet with.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. So
if I can real quick, sorry, on the flip side of the motivators there's a assessment out there as well called positive intelligence. If you haven't tried that one, it probably would go very nicely hand in hand with those because it talks about what's keeping you from doing. It talks about these saboteurs, things that keep you from being successful, keep you from being your best, keep you from doing whatever it is that you're doing. And it's also another wonderful assessment on that sense.
Yeah, I'd like to learn a lot more about that. A lot of what we do is people is working on their mindset. And I literally was literally giving a book list to a client this morning about their mindset. And the book that she picked out of the list was called Self-Sabotage, that she wants to read.
There you go. Awesome. Great. That's fantastic.
All right. I have a feeling we're going to talk too long. So the last few years has been kind of weird. And, people always talk about COVID, and that's the question, but it's also become an issue on supply chain, which I don't think is a factor for you, but maybe staffing. But how has the change over the last couple of years, we alluded to it a minute ago, impacted your business positively, negatively? Who knows?
I think for coaching in general, it's probably been a huge positive impact because people are starting to pay attention more to what's going on around them. It used to be where we would get up, we'd get ready for work, we'd hop in the car, we'd commute, we'd go do our job, and then we come back. But with COVID, it forced everybody to stay home for a little bit longer. It forced a lot of us, not everybody, but forced a lot of us to work from home as it would be. And we started to recognize things that we were missing out on, things that we were not seeing as much anymore. And we all started to figure out, well, how do I get more of that? So as we started to go back into the offices, people are looking for more flexible schedules. They're looking for more work from home opportunities. Companies are starting to pay more attention to that work-life balance, and they're changing the way that they do things as it would be. For me, it's opened the door to have really awesome conversations with people. Even if I'm not coaching someone, I just love hearing their journeys and why they're doing the things. And why did you decide to start working from home? Why did you decide, you've been a corporate, mogul for so many years, and now you're selling insurance from your basement and you're happier than ever. Why is that? It's really just cool to see how we as a society are kind of taking a step back and really looking at ourselves and saying, hey, is this really what I want to do? Is this really the right path for me? And I love that companies are starting to do it as well. And I think that's where companies that embrace that is where we're going to see lots of really good change as it would be.
So I'm part of that Great Recession. I did the same thing, right? I left a corporate job, a really good corporate job for a bunch of different reasons, and some of the ones you touched on there. And it's interesting when we talked about it. You said you work with individuals mostly, but it does seem like there's a big opportunity on the corporate side. Now, on the business side, they're probably going to take a little longer to get there, to catch up to the journey. But I'm assuming that, meeting businesses that want to dig into employee, I would say welfare, that's not the right word, mental health and things of that. Maybe that's even a little bit overplayed. But I'm sure there's a business opportunity, a business client target that's an opportunity for you as well, not just individuals.
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest areas that you could jump in with that kind of thing is performance improvement plans. I mean, companies are constantly having employees that aren't operating at what they think is their best way of operating, and a lot of times it's because they put their rules against that person, and they compare everybody to the same set of rules. And if they're not meeting those milestones or whatever, then obviously they're a bad employee. They're not effective. They're not working well. So they'll typically put them on an improvement plan where they'll try to work on them to get them to align to those rules. But really what should be happening, and one thing that I would love to get to companies with is like, hey, let's look at the individual and see like, what are they really doing? And I have that because I worked at a corporate job and I was a manager and I was given people that were, a potential to be released later on. Like that was kind of like my indoctrination as it would be management. Is like, you've got to learn to let people go. You've got to learn how to deal with those kind of people. I didn't lose anybody though, because I spent time getting to know them, and I found out what's their passions, what's driving them, what is their internal motivator. And we found out that a lot of people weren't aligned to what it was, or they were taking on work that shouldn't have been theirs. And if we could just find a way to properly balance that workload and maybe give someone to here and they take this on and maybe grab somebody from, Sally or Joe, they changed their whole outlook and they became really different. So yeah, employee performance is definitely a big area to get into. And it's something I'm investigating and looking into for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I worked at one place. I had one long stint with the company, and I was a manager there for 13 years, and we never had anybody leave, and I never had to do a layoff. And there were very, very few people who were fired. It was just an incredible culture, and it sounds like that. And I think there's a lot of things I learned that are similar to what you've done. You've taken it many steps further. So just thinking about the people that could be listening to this is certainly if there's people who are thinking about a life change, you could be a stepping point there. But also people who aren't doing that change and they're staying in the business world and they're working with their team members who are people that work for them that are struggling. As you pointed out, the employee performance programs. If you've got someone in that aspect, you're a great person to bring in to support the manager or the HR team in that regard.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
So, do you work face to face, remotely, Zoom, or what? How would somebody engage with you?
Yeah, right now a lot of it's Zoom, a lot of it's remote, mainly because of where I'm geographically located. I'm located up here in the northern part of Georgia and everything, so I don't get out into the big city as much here in Georgia. But I do face to faces as well. For those that are here locally in my area. But a lot of it's done over Zoom. A lot of it's done through either Zoom or even phone calls. If it's just a phone call, I try to make myself accessible to whatever the client needs. And making it easier for them. So some people just want to talk on the phone. They feel more comfortable with that. And I recognize that that's easier for people. Other people need the face-to-face interaction, and that's either in person or over video and everything.
Okay.
So pretty much whichever route will work best for people.
And you work with people, you can work with people then anywhere in the world, really, then, in that model. You're not limited to Georgia.
Yep, pretty much anywhere in the world, yep. Excellent. I don't know how the international exchange rates will work for things, but, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, well, my coach, I have a coach. I'm a business coach, but I have a business coach, and he was employee number 2 of Action Coach. He's in Australia. So we work it out. So believe me, you can work it out. So is there anything you wish you had done differently as you've started with your business?
Started it sooner would probably have been it. If I had to say to anybody, it's like so many times we think we can, but there's something that holds us back, I wrote actually a newsletter article about this just the other day about how, there's always something that's keeping me from going forward. I'm a notorious procrastinator. I would make up excuses for things like, oh, well, I just got married. Oh, well, we just had a kid. Oh, well, I've got a new job and I like it. Why should I look elsewhere? Why should I look at something else? But there's always nagging at me and always eating at me. There's always that little bit of tension. And again, paying attention to that tension, I think is really important. And if someone else out there wants to try something, start small. You don't have to quit your job and immediately jump into it. There's all kinds of little things that you could do. I just started by meeting with friends and just helping them walk through life. And that was a way that I started to prove that out to myself and everything. So I definitely would have probably have done this sooner, I would say. Not too much sooner because there's still a lot of life lessons I learned, that have helped me out. But starting sooner probably would have been a big thing for me for sure.
Okay, that's good advice. I know I meet with a lot of business owners and right, and they're thinking, oh, I might want to do this, I might want to do this, so I'm going to wait. Well, if it's good for you, why wait?
Yeah.
If you know
I
it's
mean, you
good for
don't
you.
know for sure. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. Is there are there any things that so other than that, so you talked about starting sooner, how does that impact your business decisions going forward? That
I think I'm a little more risk taker now. I'm
okay.
willing to try new things. I'm willing to kind of step out and see, like, okay, well, this didn't work, but why? So I'm also very analytical about a lot of the things that I do, but I don't dwell on things. Like I don't when I send out a pitch to a partner to work with, or I email someone that's interested in my coaching. I don't hold back. I don't try to take them through a long dance and everything as it would be. It's more like, hey, let's just get on the phone, let's talk, or let's just kind of move forward with this. So I'm a little bit more of a risk taker as it would be, but that has probably been the biggest change for me, rather than kind of tiptoeing around things. I would
Right.
say in the
Okay.
past.
So as you're helping other people transform, you're transforming as well.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, if I'm not learning something new and passing it on to my community, I might as well just close up shop, because
Right.
we're always evolving, we're always changing. The world around us is changing so quickly. You have to keep up with it. You have to be able to always be a student. And that's where I think coaches are huge. No matter what industry you're in or what you're doing, having a coach to help you with either in a marketing or a business or personal or family or life or whatever is so key, because we're the ones out there doing a lot of this research, and we're
Right.
all passionate about these things. And it's just great to be able to have that person that you can just call up and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. And it's amazing how quickly they just rattle off all kinds of solutions for you and everything.
No, I agree. That's what I love doing because I've learned so much just by being in this role. I look at things differently, and I know I never would have seen them if I was not in this role. So absolutely agree with that. So this is going to feel a little redundant the way the discussion is going. But what's your biggest learning?
My biggest learning:
Your biggest
marketing is
lesson?
hard.
Marketing.
Marketing is hard. It's like it's not. I mean, I've always had respect for marketers when I've worked with them in the past, and I've always thought that what they did was great. But I don't think I really realized as a small business owner how hard it is. Because you really are at the beginning. You're doing it all.
Hmm.
And everybody always talks about, like, oh, you got to deal with payroll and all that. Well, if I don't have any employees, I don't have to deal with that. But the marketing of it and the getting the message out while also finding time and making time for client work and things like that and building that community, that's hard work. There's a lot that goes into that and everything.
Yeah, so that's one thing I learned in here, and maybe you've heard this, is in the beginning when you start your business, 100% of every day is marketing.
Yep.
Right. Until you get some people that are interested. They call you back. They actually call you back or they email you, hey, Eric, I want to talk to you. So what happens is maybe that consumes 30% of your week, right? Well, that means you only have 70% to do your marketing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So now but you want to keep marketing, so you keep marketing and you're meeting with prospects, and then you sell something. Holy crap, you sell something, right? So now they're taking up 10% of your week, 15% of your week. Well, and now you're still getting more people that are meeting with you, and now your ability to market has dropped to 50%. Your capacity to do marketing has dropped. And what happens is if you don't find a way to systematize it and make it repetitive,
Yes.
eventually it bleeds off the sales funnel, right?
Yep.
Because you get to where 80% is doing operations, 10% is doing sales, and you have 10% of marketing, which is generating nothing. And that's the biggest thing is when you have 100% of your time to do marketing, it's not as efficient.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not as good at it. And so as you get better, as you grow your business, learning to be more efficient on marketing and knowing what works is huge because
Yeah.
it people are like, I'm going to make a website and I'm going to send social media posts. Okay. Yeah. That's not
So,
enough.
and it's funny because that's a perfect case study, because I had a business that I tried to start at one point, which was kind of tech support for families, and I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I built a great website, and I posted social media pretty much every day. I preloaded a year's worth of content, and that was all I did. I got zero out of it. I mean, I mean, you can't just post a website and scream as it would be in social media or yell on social media and expect people to come to you. It's like, it really is. You have to systemize. I love how you said that. You got to systemize these things so that way they can be repeatable and hopefully automated. But they also, I think a big part of the marketing is just engagement, and you taking the time to engage with the people that have taken the time to engage with you. And that's one thing I'm being very, very judicious about, is ensuring that, hey, if somebody engages with me on social media, on an email, on a text message or phone call, that's a priority for me to get back to and everything. Because really, we build so much of our business through referrals. And if I can't engage there and make that relationship, that person's probably never going to send anybody to me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even though it's digital marketing and all that, still goes back to that personal piece that you're talking about.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's a good learning. Talking about your business, are there any offers or opportunities you want to make sure somebody knows about other than call Eric? He'll help you figure out the rest of your life. He'll help you grow up.
Yeah, I mean, we're really, really ramping up some new offers and stuff like that. I've got some documentations that I can send people as they come in. If you're trying to understand your manager, I've got a great little pamphlet that I can send people if they're interested on how to figure out what manager they're working with, and really help you to align of how to work better with them. Because we all, as people that aren't management, or even if we are managers, we're always trying to figure out, well, how do I impress or how do I work better with the person above me? And that's just a great little tool that we've got. And then the big thing is my program. It's a 5-week sessions, as it would be. So 5 different sessions over whatever everybody wants. And that's something you can learn more about just by contacting me. I have a little thing on my website. It's called a little match session. And it's just a 30-minute call. And it's just for us to get to know each other and to, figure out, hey, are you a match for me? Are you motivated? Are you wanting to take action? Are you ready to be trustworthy? The CNH we can get into later, as it would be, but yeah, I mean, it's just an opportunity for you to get to know me. But really, what I'm looking for more is just engagement. People that want to talk to me and people that want to learn more about themselves. My number's out there, my emails are out there, and the website coffeecupcoach.co. Great way to get a hold of me and everything.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure we get that in there. www.coffeecupcoach.co. Co, not com.
Yep. And if that's too hard, ericryanjones.com. They both route to the same place. So it makes it easy.
Okay. Very good. Excellent. So what's the most inspiring thing for you right now today? Looking at tomorrow, what gets you excited?
Watching other people help other people. I've always been a big fan of LinkedIn. But it seems like recently there's been a big explosion of people reaching out just to help one another.
My doorbell's going off.
Yeah. Oh, it is. I can't even hear it.
All right.
But I love it. There's that ability that someone asks for help finding a job, and you look at the post count and the view counts and all that. It's like in the thousands. Right. People just want to ask a question and they get, responses back. But yeah, just seeing people help other people is always a big thing for me.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, you're right. You're a good listener. You're a good conversationalist. I'm sure people are going to do that when they chat with you. So, Eric, I thank you for the time. I'm looking forward to seeing how the business goes. And as I said, a lot of people come to me, hey, can you tell me what I need to do when I grow up? I kind of had that question posed to me this morning, but you didn't ask it that way. But I want to make sure that we stay in touch, and I'll be following your journey and vice versa. All right?
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Thank you.